Welcome back to episode 4 of At Mac. I'm M. Golden. Today we'll be interviewing Rudy Ramos, who plays Felix Long on Paramount Network's show Yellowstone, which is currently in its 4th season. Thanks again for joining us, Rudy.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
For those who aren't familiar, Rudy is originally from Lawton, Oklahoma. He graduated in 1963 from Lawton High School. When did you leave Lawton?
I left Lawton in 66. I went to Cameron when it was a junior college for 2 years on a basketball scholarship. And then I went to California. I had a brother that was living out there in Pasadena. So I went out and stayed with him for a little bit. And then I moved into Hollywood. So Pasadena was a little far away from the city for me. It's a nice city, but yeah, I think it was 66, the last part of 66.
Wow. So when exactly did you start performing outside of Lawton?
Well, when I left Lawton, I had no intention of ever pursuing acting. I just, I had to finish 2 years of college, and I just wanted to see what else was out there. I had, right before my senior year, I went on the wheat harvest from Burke Burnett, driving the combine from Burke Burnett, Texas, to right up in Montana, right near the Canadian border. So I saw that part of the country, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And after a couple of years of college, I was very certain that there was nothing in college for me. I didn't want to go to school anymore. So I just came to California with a friend of mine who was a songwriter, and I got a job right away working in a shoe store. So, and that's how it all started. I was working in a shoe store, and I met a lady from MGM Studios who was the assistant for a lady by the name of Jane Murray, who was a big-time casting director at the time. And this lady asked me if I was an actor, and I said no. And she asked me, well, why not? And I said, well, I'm from Oklahoma. I just never thought of that at all. I was playing basketball, playing sports. So she said to me, she really encouraged me, to make this story short, to get into it. She thought I had a very strong presence that would translate onto the film, and she set up an interview with me, with Jane Murray, the casting director, who I met with about 3 months later. I wasn't sure I wanted to meet her, but my buddy talked me into going out to MGM Studio, and I did, and I had a meeting with her, and she was real old school and really lectured me. And I'm thinking, I caught 2 buses to come over here to get a lecture. I wasn't happy about that, but when it was all said and done, she sent me to a man who became my mentor the first 8 years that I was out in California. And he was a man by the name of Sherman Marks, who was head of the director's unit of the actor studio. And he had a scene study class. And I met him. We hit it off really well. And I started training with him. He wouldn't let me work for like 6 months. I just had to sit and watch. But I got real excited watching it, and they were all professional actors in there except for me. And that's how it started. 2 years later, I was working in a TV series, and then it's just gone on from there.
Wow.
I'm very, very fortunate to have been well trained, and I always encourage young actors. They say, how do you become an actor? Well, you become an actor by training. You got to get training. You can't just jump out there and do it, as you know. I follow you and your work, and you're always doing something with acting and other things too. But that's the more you do, the more you'll get comfortable with it. And I was very comfortable when I got that TV series, although I had never done any film. It still was, I was creating a character which was real near me. It wasn't a great stretch, but it was my first job, and I knew nothing about filming. But they were real patient with me, and I learned on the job. and it wasn't long until I was very comfortable doing film. So, that was, I think, in 1971. Here it is, 2021, and I'm still working. I would have never guessed that, and I wasn't looking for it. It just kind of came to me. I guess that was, the Creator's plan for me, keep me out of trouble. So, acting has been very, very kind to me, and it is an honorable profession.
That's amazing. So, what inspired you to become an actor?
Well, just what I said. I got the opportunity, and I wasn't really open to it. When I first met the lady in the shoe store, she gave me a card that had her number at the studio, and her encouragement, my buddy's encouragement. He was a songwriter named Roger Tillison from Duncan, and he had written a couple of songs that were top 40 songs, and I told him about that meeting, that lady, and I said, but I don't think I want to go out. I don't want to do this. And he said, Rudy, do it. He said, there's actors in this town that will give their arm up to the elbow just to walk on the set, walk on the gates, walk through the gates of MGM Studio. And I said, well, I don't think so. But I hung on to the card for some reason. And as a couple of months went by, I was thinking about it more and more. Finally, one day, I decided to do it, and that got the whole ball rolling. I didn't want to be an actor. Nothing inspired me to be an actor. But once I saw it in a workshop situation, I remember thinking, I can do this. I understand this. I don't know how you do it, but I think I'm in the right place where I can learn to do it. And I did, and I picked back the fundamentals that man installed in me. And he had such respect for everybody. If you would do a scene in class, and it never could, were working on certain things and within the scene, objectives. And it wasn't just learning lines and getting up and performing. You were working right away. I loved it. I loved breaking it down like that. It was real fundamental. Like when I played basketball, everything was fundamentals. You play soccer, it's fundamentals. So I learned that real quick, and I enjoyed training. To tell you the truth, I never even thought about working. I was happy training. I really was. And I miss it because now people want me to train them, but I'm really not interested in being a teacher. I've helped many actors prepare for roles. I don't want to do it for money because then it wouldn't be fun. If they ask me for help, I'm right there for them. But I don't give my opinion to anybody unless they ask. To answer your question, I never thought I would be an actor. I thought that I got this opportunity and I was real happy training. And then I started working. So I trained while I was working when I was back in town because we filmed High Chaparral in Tucson, Arizona. So I trained until, my mentor, Sherman Marks, died from a heart attack suddenly. And I was with somebody else for a couple of years, and then he moved out of the country. And after that, I've just kind of been on my own, and I've got some good friends that sometimes I was not certain that I'd have to go to and lean on to help me prepare for a role. And then after that, I was just kind of on my own. So that's training. Training's everything,
Wow, that's an amazing story.
It's true. It's true.
So, before Yellowstone, what was your favorite show that you've done?
My Geronimo show. That's a stage show, but I love doing my Geronimo show. It was something that was written for me probably in 2011 because I wanted to create this project, but I'm not a writer. So I happened to be talking to a cousin of mine who wrote books, and she had never written a script, and I hadn't seen her since we were little kids in Lawton. And I was telling her about I'd love to do, she always mentions Geronimo in the books that she writes. She's from Lawton too. I was telling her how I'd like to do it, and I thought about it for 30 years, but I don't write, and people that I was around weren't interested in writing plays. They were interested in writing, television pilots or movies. And she told me I would like a shot at it, and I said, go for it. About, 10 months later, she sent me this script, and it was really good. I was shocked, and it was, she had done a lot of research. Now, it was too long to be a one-man show. It was 2 acts. Excuse me. But I saw in that script that she wrote the core of the story that I wanted to tell, which was Geronimo's side of the story as to why he fought so hard and so long. And the reason was because he was fighting for his family. He was fighting for his people. He was fighting for his land. And all of that was in there. I could see it. So I asked her if she would mind if I edited it. And she, being the sweet Okie that she is, she said, honey, I wrote it for you. You do what you want with it. So about another 10 months, I edited every night. And I got it down to where pretty much the show that it is now. It's just little. I got some help from the cultural historian from the Apache tribe, and he helped me, culturally, said we would say this, not that, and he was very, very helpful. So I feel really good about it, and I just raised some money from it wasn't GoFundMe, but it was the one before that. Can't even think of it now, but I raised $12,000 to get, rehearsal studio time and stuff like that, and started working on it with my friend Steve Railsback, who's a wonderful actor. He played Charles Manson in Helter Skelter and got nominated for a Golden Globe, and the Stuntman. We've been buddies ever since we did Helter Skelter, and he directed me in it, and he's a wonderful director. He's done a lot of stage too and a lot of film. And, we got it up and running, and I started telling some people. I did it twice in Lawton. I did it 3 times in Muskogee, in that area. That got me up. I did it. I premiered it in Tucson, Arizona in 2014. And then I never advertised it. I just would go wherever I was welcome and people were open to hearing Geronimo's side of the story. And it turned into like 6 years of being on the road with it. So I wasn't really working in film at that point. I hadn't done any film about 4 or 5 years until I got Yellowstone. So when I got the audition for Yellowstone, I'd been on the road with Geronimo. So I was real sharp and real confident. And I went in and I did my reading for this part, and I could see right away it was a great part. And it was very well written. Excuse me. Usually you don't see things written that well for natives, and it was not stereotypical. Hold on, let me clear my throat. So I was real sharp when I did my reading. I felt real comfortable with it, but I didn't think I would get the part. I thought, well, Studi would or Graham Greene, both of them have been nominated for Academy Awards. And Wes Studi played Geronimo in the movie 20 years ago. But there was something I did that was different, and I don't know what, that Taylor Sheridan, they brought me back, and Taylor Sheridan was watching my audition on Skype. He was in Utah, and I was in, I think, West Los Angeles at a casting
Hey,
casting
Rudy,
session. Yes.
we are going to take a short break really quick.
Okay. just remind me where I was.
Okay. The listeners, thank you for seeing the first part of this interview. We will be back soon with more Rudy Ramos. Welcome back to At Mac, and we're on the line with actor Rudy Ramos. Let's talk about Yellowstone. So,
Okay, you go.
Okay. When did you first find out that you were doing Yellowstone?
Well, after my second audition, I was driving home, and my agent called me and said that I had the part. They wanted to book me for the first two shows, which turned into 7 shows in the first season. So,
Wow.
I did 2, and at 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 I wasn't in, and I came back at 6, and did 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 9 was a 90-minute show, and it turned out so well they made it into 10.
That's amazing.
But I knew. I was on my way home. My agent called me, and I had the part. So I knew that day, and I had a short time, more than usual though, before I went to Park City, Utah, to start the whole process. Getting wardrobe. They gave me great wardrobe. Meeting with the makeup people, and then actually doing it. My first day on set, my first scene was with Kevin Costner. So, and he's, being in Yellowstone is, after doing acting for 50 years, 52 now, it really is an actor's dream because you're working with people who all have a load of credits. We all have worked a lot. This is not our first time out. Everybody is very, very good, and we all know why we're there. We're there to serve Taylor Sheridan, who wrote these great scripts, and bring those words on that piece of paper to life. We got all of that beautiful scenery in Utah and Montana with wonderful actors. It really is like a dream deal. I mean, everybody works real hard, play real hard. There's never been an issue on set as far as actors and directors or actors and other actors. Everybody's just there to do what we do. And it's like,
Wow.
It's a dream job. It's a dream job. And I love my character, my character, Felix Long, is what you call a recurring part, meaning when they need me, if the storyline, needs me, they're going that way with it, they'll bring me back. Like I only did one show in season 4, but they brought me back into it with the possibility of, because of what's happened with my granddaughter, the girl who plays my granddaughter, the character of Monica, moving out of the Yellowstone home and back out on the other side of the reservation. That's when I come back in. So because I was in one show, it's given me the ideas that there possibly could be more work for me in season 5, although I'm not contractually bound to them. They're definitely not contractually bound for me. If I was doing a movie or something like that and they needed me and I couldn't be, they just would write me out of the script, and that's how that works. So we probably will start filming again in spring when it gets a little warmer in Montana, and we'll see where it goes. I'd like to stay with them, and I think that they want me to stay with them, but we shall see. But it's really a dream job. Kevin Costner's a great guy to work with, easy to be around. Taylor Sheridan, who wrote and created Yellowstone, he's a real character himself. He's written a good part for himself. The guy who plays Travis in season 4, that is Taylor Sheridan. That's him. So he's great to work for, and he gets real excited when he writes the scenes that he'll come up to you to me and say, well, what do you wait till you see what I wrote for you in episode 6? And he's real excited. So they're great to work for. It's a great company.
That's amazing. Say, I like to get with my parents on Sunday, and we watch the new episode of Yellowstone every Sunday, and it's just phenomenal. I can't ever get enough of it.
Yeah, I watch them too, whether I'm in them or not. I mean, those people are all my friends. So we're like family. I love watching them work. If I wasn't in Yellowstone, I would still be a big fan of Yellowstone. I just happen to be in it.
That's always the best way to be with acting. It's always good to become family with your fellow actors.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, what have been your best experience with the production of Yellowstone?
My best experience? It's hard to pick a best. I could tell you about certain scenes that I did. There was, I forget what episode it was, but I had I think in episode 6, a really nice scene with my grandson, Brecken Merrill, is the actor, he's young actor. He's about 9, he was about 10, and he plays the character of Tate. And I had a really nice scene with him. And he's amazing he's like 13 now, maybe 14, and he's grown. But he was real small then, and he was amazing. His focus for a 10-year-old, he was just always right there in the moment. He listened, and he was well prepared. He never blew a line. That was a great working with Taylor Sheridan and Kevin Costner it's been great. Number one, Taylor's a great writer. He's a great director. And Kevin Costner is Kevin Costner, but they're real nice people too. And also because of my character, the girl who plays my granddaughter, Monica, her name's Kelsey Asriel, and her husband, my son-in-law, Luke Grimes. They're Luke is maybe in his early 30s. Kelsey is probably 28, and they're so good. They're very, very good, and they're growing. Their characters are just getting better and better, and they're very nice people too. So I think that the highlight of it is just being around nice people all the way across the board. And then the other thing is like being in Montana or Utah. It's beautiful there.
Wow.
It's an honor, to be in this show. It's an honor to work with Taylor and Kevin and to bring those words to life. It's very much like my experience when I was a young actor, and that was my first album, The High Chaparral. Everybody had been stars already before they came into the show, and I had never worked. So they all really just surrounded me with love and support. And the film crew was real patient with me because I didn't know film, camera, or anything like that. But everybody guided me, and without overstepping their boundaries and telling me how to do it. Each and every actor guided me. So that was a great experience. I started out on the world stage. High Chaparral was an international hit, and I'm coming to the end of my career, and I'm back on the world stage again because this one's worldwide now because of streaming. So Chaparral was a big hit in Europe and South America, and now this one Yellowstone goes all over the world. So it's good to be on the world stage again.
Yeah.
I'm real comfortable. I'm comfortable with that. That's where I started. So it's and I'm working with great people just like I did in High Chaparral, and along the way, many great people. It's a thrill for me. I mean, I love pretty much every day, wherever I am, somebody will come up and say, "Are you in Yellowstone?" Because with the mask and everything, and for some reason they recognize me. And I don't know, from my nose to my forehead is what you can see, and that's still a thrill. It's a thrill for me because I see how excited they get. They get excited like you were just talking with somebody about Yellowstone, and somebody said, "Am I the only person in here that's never seen Yellowstone?" But because of your excitement, that person said that, and that's the way people react to it. They get real excited about Yellowstone, which is always, heartwarming to me. It's probably a little bit about me when they ask me if I'm in it, but they're really talking about the show, and that's great. It's great to be in a hit like that.
Yeah.
Most people will never experience it, but that doesn't mean you won't love acting. But I would wish that everybody could experience a hit. It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And if it comes to you once, you're very fortunate. If it comes to you twice, especially 50 years apart, you realize, that is what the Creator had in mind for me, this path.
It sounds like it's been a really fun journey for you.
Oh yeah, all along the way, it's been a great journey. It's been many, many more highs and lows, but it both come with the profession. So like I've always said, it's an honorable profession. Thank goodness I never had anybody say to me, "Well, when are you going to get a real job?" That's so insulting. You just want to slap them. I always encourage anybody, regardless where they are in their journey, you'll know when it's not for you. But I would never tell anybody, "No, don't do it. It's too hard." Just get training. And I always say that to young actors: get training. You don't just, walk into Los Angeles and look at your watch and say, "It's Monday. You think I can be a star by Friday?" Because a lot of young actors are like that. They want to be on the red carpet. They don't want to be actors. I was never on the red carpet until Yellowstone. And of it. It's like an addiction to me. I need to create. So if I'm not doing film, if I'm not doing a play, I'm usually doing something around my house, reading something, or just looking for another project to do. I'm looking for another stage project to do right now. I know one that I want to do, but it's kind of hard to get back and forth because I live outside of Los Angeles, 50 miles, and all the theaters are like from the San Fernando Valley into Los Angeles. That's the area there, about 10 miles. It's a long drive, so that kind of limits me.
Yeah.
But I'm fine. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing.
That's good.
And they pay well. Just thought I would throw that one in there. It's been at Yellowstone's been a dream, not a dream come true. It's just like a dream job. I don't dream about success. I don't dream about my next role. But when you have a dream job, you have to acknowledge that, and it is a dream job. And that part would have gone to a couple of other people that would have been. Whoever did the part of Felix Long was going to shine. I'm just a lucky guy who got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, in Yellowstone, is there a specific age range of the cast?
A what?
A specific age range?
No, I don't think there's any specific age range. It's all, little kids. Brecken was in it at 10. I'm probably the oldest one of the regulars or the recurring people, except for Barry Corbin. I think Barry Corbin, who's done a lot of things. Lonesome Dove was one of his big films. Barry's came in. He's been in season 4, and I think if they're wise, they will hang on to him and have him be like a recurring character like mine too. So No, there's no age range. If they need a kid, they get the best available, and then if they need an older person, they get the best available. So it's not for everybody to see because it's a little rough around the edges sometimes with the language. But when people in the beginning said, "Well, it's good, but I don't like the language," and I would always say, "Well, don't watch it." It's real simple. Just if you're watching it on TV, just change the channel.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. I'm not offended if somebody says it. If they start preaching to me about it, then I draw the line there. But don't. I don't need a critique. Just tell me you don't like it. Don't start telling me why. I had somebody do that. He was just really ragging on the show. And I said, "Whoa! If you don't like it, don't watch it. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me how much you don't like Kevin Costner. There's people that, they hate everybody. So, fine, you go ahead and take your hate somewhere away from me. That word's not even in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Just get away from me. I don't need your opinion." So that's the only time. No, it's really a great job.
Yeah. So
And it's such a big hit. It's amazing. It's even getting bigger. Yes.
Where can our viewers find Yellowstone exactly?
Yellowstone is on Paramount Network. Most cable companies carry it as part of their package, where you get certain, you get all the local channels, and then maybe CNN, Fox News, those, and MSNBC news channels, and most care. I have Spectrum, and my neighbor has a different cable series, but it's on both of them without having to pay extra. So most cable carriers have Paramount Network. That's what it's on, Paramount Network, and I think you can live stream it on Peacock. Is that it? Yeah, Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Channel. It's a new one. I think you could have to pay for that one, but I'm not certain.
Okay.
But Paramount Network is the network that it's on. It was there. Paramount Studio is one thing. That's a movie thing. But Paramount Network, it was their first journey into cable movies. And Yellowstone is like a movie. It's shot like a movie. It's 3 cameras. Every episode looks like a movie. With the background of Montana, the background of Utah. It's beautiful. So it's really shot like a movie. But yeah, that was their first journey into Paramount Network, into the cable film business, and they had a hit right off the bat. Now they have a lot of projects on there. In 4 years, they're doing a lot of stuff. But we were the first.
Wow.
A good choice. Actually, I'll tell you a little inside story. That when Yellowstone was first presented to HBO, they passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know it.
That's
what I
amazing.
said when I first. Yeah, and I don't know what the difference was. If it was the fact that it came to Paramount with Kevin Costner. I don't know if he was attached at that point. Probably was. But they took a shot, and it's paid off. But HBO was the first that Taylor Sheridan went to with the script, and they passed. I don't know if it was because it was too much money, because Taylor's very good at making deals, and he knows what he needs, and he doesn't shortchange anybody or anything. Whatever he needs, he gets.
Wow.
And that was pretty much his deal.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, because I don't know what the real story is, but I do know that HBO passed on it. They probably regret it. And I think it's going to be on another couple of years. Taylor knows when it's going to end, because he's got that story in his head. So I've always thought it would end after six seasons. So, and I think I might have heard him say that, but I can't remember if I heard him say it or if I just imagined it. I'm not sure now. But for sure, there's going to be a season 5. And hopefully I'll be in it, but we'll see about that when the time comes.
Okay. Well, that's our interview. Remember, listeners, you can find Yellowstone on Paramount Network and Peacock. Thank you all for listening. Oh,
I would like to say something to your listeners. I would like to thank them all for listening and for watching the show, the people that do. And I think that this broadcast class that you have, I think that's a great deal to have in school because that gives somebody a direction if they wanted to be in it. And years ago, they didn't have that early training like this. And Em, you're doing a great job as a host.
Thank you.
You're not performing like a student. You're performing like a professional. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you again, Rudy Ramos, for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome, and hello to Lawton.
I'm M. Golden. Like and subscribe for more content from MMS Media. Bye!
This episode of At Mac was produced by M. Golden, Addison Bratzler, Jalise Bhagan, and Brody Brown as part of MacArthur Middle School Media. I am the broadcast advisor, Mr. Elijah Morlett. Special thanks to Rudy Ramos for this opportunity. This program was made possible to the support of the Lawton Public School Foundation, the K20 Education Center at the University of Oklahoma, and the citizens of Lawton-Fort Sill through the 2017 Student Investment Program.